Welcome into episode 144 of the Gym Podcast. We are talking about traveling today. You guys came over tonight. We are recording at nighttime, and Will and his family came over to our house where we are recording. And we got to talk about travel because we are going to be traveling together we travel a lot, I think, together. And so we were already talking about some of this
We've also done
stuff.
some heavier episodes lately, so we're like, we need a bit of a lighter one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In our last episode, we talked about we need to do a travel etiquette one, and we thought, man, let's just do it.
Yeah.
Let's just do it. We need something light, something lighthearted. After all of the stuff that's been going on, the top 10s are a little bit difficult. If you have some top 10 lists or some lighthearted ones, let us know. We would absolutely love to.
Fun ones, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Always looking for some good ones and lighthearted ones. But today we're talking about travel etiquette. Is it the end of the world? If you don't know these things, no.
This is not one of our non-negotiable
Correct,
episodes. Yeah.
correct. Last one's non-negotiable. This one, not quite as much. On the other hand, we really do think that this is important because nothing ruins. Like, okay, let's be honest. Travel is expensive. We're talking. You're probably dropping thousands of dollars on a trip, and if you're traveling with somebody and they just don't
Ruin
get
the
it,
trip for you? Yeah.
it very much ruins the trip. It's like, man, I threw a lot of money down the drain because this was not fun at all. You let your kids run everywhere, or you were late to everything, or whatever else. So we have some tips, some travel etiquette, so we're not those people. So we can be easier to travel with. This is going to be with people, and this is going to be just on your own. And I'm excited for this. I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, Joe and I love to travel. I understand that everybody can't all the time. I think it's one of the fun things that God can bless you with if that's something that you're able to do, or even something you want to do. Not everybody's a big travel person, but yeah, we've got some fun tips on here. The traveling with others, and Joe, then you can get into the first one, can be so much fun. If you travel with the right people, Joe and his family are a blast to travel with.
Vice versa.
They're for a lot of reasons, and then I've traveled with some people that it's like maybe not quite as fun, and so we're trying to give the tips so that all the Galileo men can be just wonderful travel partners, and everybody will be like, man, I want to travel with those
Tricks
guys.
of the trade, yeah.
That's right. So Joe, get us into the first. We'll start with dudes and then go to don'ts.
Yeah, the do's of traveling with other people. We will come down to traveling by yourself, but traveling with other people. The first is to be flexible with time, schedule, and money. Look, things will go wrong. I think that's just a natural thing. Things will go wrong on schedule. If you're the rigid, like, we have to do this at this time and everything is every 30 minutes we have something, don't be that guy. Nobody wants to travel with the person that is so structured and so rigid.
The full itinerary.
Right. Or we want to stop off. It's like, oh, man, they got this great donut place. I'm sorry, that's not in my wallet. We don't have that in the budget type of thing. Like, I understand people travel with a budget. I get that. I know that there's a level of privilege, quote unquote, that comes with saving up for a little extra things like that, which we'll get to. But, man, try to be flexible with some of those things as much as possible, because it's the worst when you go to like you're trying to go to a local restaurant, something, and it's like, oh, it's just not in the time, or it's not in the budget or whatever.
Yeah.
Some of those things happen, but as much as can be done, try to be flexible on those things.
Yeah, I think being flexible is good reason we had that one first. The second one that I have is try to have a general idea of what you're going to spend while you're there, but lean on the liberal side.
Yep.
Obviously, Joe knows me. This is the type of answer that I would put down, or type of tip that I would put down. But the reason I say it is because you do enjoy your trip more if you are somewhat have peace of mind about it. Like, I know what I'm going to spend. I've already maybe budgeted a couple $100 more than what I think I need to. So yes, I'm not going to worry about stopping off at the donut shop, or I'm not going to worry about stopping to go get coffee. Like, it's already kind of worked in there. Obviously, you probably know what you're paying for lodging. If you're renting a car or whatever, you probably know that. But then as far as like food, entertainment, and fun stuff, try to have a general idea. Because the other thing too is, if you're just down there and like, man, I'll just spend whatever, you probably will spend way more than you should, which is a problem. You just kind of, hemorrhage money. Or if you're, kind of a tightwad, then you just don't enjoy the trip as much versus, hey, I've budgeted this much. Again, I'll be liberal with it. I'll have a good time and enjoy myself.
Yeah.
So again, general idea, I think, is a good idea for a trip.
Budget more on, definitely on the more,
sure.
on the more than the less. One my wife added. Communicate with everybody in your party,
in your travel group,
travel group. Communicate quite a bit. Start a text thread. Have some communication going so that everybody. Hey, 6 a.m. we're leaving. Remember, we got to be there at 6 a.m. Or hey, we got this going on. Or has anybody seen this? Or can you guys pick this up for me? Just have a text thread going with other people. I think that's just such a nice. Man, it makes things easy. Rather than you get there and did you guys grab that? No, were we supposed to grab it? That just adds stress to the trip. If everybody's communicating quite a bit, it's also a ton of fun. Send pictures back and forth to one another. Those are some of the best things. We started our text thread a long time ago between us four, and we use it all the time when we're not traveling. But I think it may have started in the New York trip when we traveled, or somewhere around there. where it was just to keep up on details. What are we going to do here? What are we going to do there? And very, very handy travel tip.
So tied to this, the next one we have is get an idea of the type of travelers your co-travelers are. Try to put this as delicately as possible. There are different types of travel people out there. I'll tell on them. I don't think they listen to this podcast, but I went on a trip with my in-laws for the first time, like a full week trip. I'd never done that before. My in-laws don't travel a ton. And we travel very differently. Let's just say we ate out one time on that entire trip, and that's not up my alley. I like to eat out a decent bit.
What did you do for the rest?
Made sandwiches and bought stuff at the store. Yeah.
Wow.
So it was a fishing trip in Minnesota, which was a blast. Ton of fun. So not exactly a ton of restaurants around unless you drive into town or whatever. But yeah, it was not on the itinerary to go out to eat until I told my wife, like, I got to go out to eat. So they can come if they want, but I'm going. And which again is fine. Like, we're about to get to some of the, like, hey, don't dictate everything, but have an idea so you're not surprised. If you're going to travel with people who again are kind of tightwad and don't want to spend a lot of money, you should probably know that ahead of time, as opposed to finding out when you're there, like, oh man, these guys don't want to do anything. Or if you're the I want to go out and do a bunch of stuff type, and they're the I just want to sit in the condo and play games or read books, and you're kind of sprung on that in the moment. Try to get a general idea. Again, you don't need to be Mr. I got to do it my way, but try to have a general idea of the type of travelers your co-travelers are.
Speaking of going out, the next one is pick up the first tab if possible. I have this in a whenever it actually gets finished. My 150 rules for being a man. Just some fun rules. It's past 150 at this point. We'll see what it ends up being. But this is one of them that I put in there. Is if you're traveling with people, I think it's most of the time you're going to go Dutch. I think, which is just everybody pays for themselves. But if there is an opportunity where you can step in and it's the first breakfast of the trip or whatever, and you can just pay for everybody, there is especially if you're new traveling. I don't know. There's something about it where it just kind of lets everybody know if you have the money to do it. You don't always have the money to do it. But if it is budgeted, if you have the opportunity to pick up, and not for like 30 people, but we're talking about 2-3 other friends, when you do that, there's something ingratiating about it. There's something very nice, and it puts everybody in a good mood. And it also, this is weird and maybe as bad as it sounds, it kind of puts everybody in your debt to some degree. If you're making a mistake later, like, man, you relate to something, who knows what, like, yeah, he's a good guy. He's picking up tabs. He's a generous guy. He's having a lot of fun. We're just enjoying it. There's something about it that if that's possible, and it's not that I always do this either, but like there's something about picking up the first tab if possible that just lets everybody know the type of traveler you are, that, man, you're looking to have a good time, but you're also very generous. And most of the time that will come back to you in much better ways. Yeah, so
that's really good. Tied to that, be patient, give grace to your co-travelers. Don't be Mr. Rigid. People are going to maybe be late to something. They might do, like, just be patient. This applies to everything in life and not just travel. Just be a kind person. Just be gracious. Don't let people walk all over you, but, be kind and be gracious. And I don't need to spend a ton of time here, I guess. But, like, when you're traveling with people, things can get stressful. Kids can get crazy. You can miss a flight or something. Like, as Joe kind of spoke to earlier, all kinds of things can go wrong. Be patient, give grace. You'll be fun to travel with if you're that.
That's that flexibility. You just want to go with the flow. You want to be the guy that is patient when you need to be. You're giving grace to people and hoping that they'll give grace to you, because you're not going to be the perfect travel person either. There's going to be some things you do. And so if you're giving grace to them, there's a lot more likely, again, they'll give grace to you. The last one we have on the do list for traveling with others, be adventurous. Be adventurous. Try different things. Yes, that goes with the food, but also that just goes with different experiences. Your buddies want to go hike, somewhere, and it's like, oh, I don't really do that. Like, man, be adventurous. My brother is scared to death of heights, but we were over in Ireland, actually, I think, and there's this bridge. I'm sure you know the bridge that goes across this water, and it's a literal single really walking. It is pretty high.
You could jump off and die.
Oh yeah, and it's just a single wooden bridge that you walk across to this kind of tiny little island. It's a really cool experience. My brother did it. Good for him. He got out there. There was this adventure in him. He is scared to death of heights. I think he's actually a lot better now, but especially back then, he was scared to death of heights. Just could not hardly do it. And still went out there. He's adventurous. He appreciated the journey. So I think that's the type of thing that makes you fun to travel with, is somebody that's willing to get out there and maybe try something that they're not used to.
Yeah. Yeah, just adventurous. It's a great one that Joe added. All right, time for the don'ts. These are fun. The first one, let's see.
I'm glad you had it. That was good.
Don't comment on the price of everything. I think we had this in our restaurant etiquette of, like, if you're going out to eat with, like, your boss or something, don't grab the menu and go, oh my goodness, this is so expensive.
Yeah.
It's a bad look. Similarly, don't comment on the price of it. Man, this place is just really expensive. Man, they charge this much for t-shirts? Oh, wow, the tickets are that much. just don't be that person. It's kind of hard for me to explain why that's so irritating and annoying. It's not good etiquette to constantly comment on the price. You don't have to do everything. Like if you're on with a family, they want to do something that's like it's a little too expensive. You are not obligated to do that, but also like, I don't know. Don't feel the need to be the boomer in the room that points out the price about every single thing, every menu item, whatever it is.
Well, think about what you're drawing everybody's attention to in that situation.
Negative.
It's just negative. You're drawing it to the one thing nobody really wants to think about on vacation, which there's look, I get it. We got to think about the money. On the other hand, like, I did not come all the way around, halfway around the world or halfway around America to get there and go, wow, the tickets are $35. Okay, if they're $35 or $35, do I want to do it or do I not? You want to be the type that is allowing for people to pay what they want to pay. And if they say, that's a bit too expensive, go with the flow. Maybe it's not for you. Maybe you decide to do it. But, man, don't be the guy that's drawing everybody's attention to the one thing that nobody really wants to think about all the time.
That's a good point.
Don't comment on the price or anything. Number two, don't dictate everything. Well, we shouldn't do this, and let's just go there. And what if we ate here?
This might be the worst type of person to travel with.
Of everything on this list, of everything we're discussing, this may be the most important one.
Yeah.
Do not be the dictator. Do not be the dictator. Traveling with somebody like this is like, I'm either going to get you a ticket home or I'm leaving because
it's not fun.
I don't do well with people dictating. And yes, we can. It's easy to go to the other side where nobody picks anything, and so somebody sometimes is going to have to just say, "Hey, what if we did this?" Right? Throw it out there, man. If you're dictating where everybody's going, what time everybody's leaving, where we should go, we're going to go to this place, we're not going to do that. You are, I guarantee you, the least fun person to travel with of anybody. It could be a huge group. You're the least fun person. Don't be the dictator.
Especially if it is where everybody's paying for themselves. You have a little bit more room to do this if you're paying for the whole trip.
Right.
Even then, it's not a good thing to just dictate everything. But if you're footing the bill for the whole thing, you can kind of be a little bit more
leeway. Yeah.
But again, most of these trips we're talking, you're going to be splitting the cost with people. Man, this type of person is just the worst to be around. It's like, man, we've all got stuff we want to do. We're happy to do stuff you want to do, but you can't just pick everything, and certain personality types do.
But get to the next one because I think it's also important. Number 3 on this is equally important, and I'm glad you put this list. Yeah. I went to add this one. He's like, I've already got this one.
Don't compromise on the things you want to do. Is what we put on there. And so this is where, like, if you're traveling with somebody, you have to walk the fine line of, or traveling with a group with like another family or whatever, of, hey, just so you guys know, we're planning on doing this. Love for you guys to join us. You don't, no obligation. You don't have to, but we are planning on doing this. That's not dictating. That's just saying, hey, we want to go to this restaurant. Love to have you guys join. No worries if not. Or, we're going golfing this day. Love to have you go, but, no worries if you can't. Don't compromise on the things you want to do. Like, don't just for the sake of being nice. Like, well, I don't want to make them feel pressured. Like, no, do the things you want to do. Just don't dictate and make everybody else do it.
This is the pendulum swing from the dictator to like, oh, no, it's not really my trip. Like, you're paying money to be there. And I've been in these situations where you're traveling with a group and maybe, like, man, I've studied everything about George Washington and we're at Mount Vernon and, like, we're this close. We could go, and I know that doesn't matter to them. But, like, I don't know when I'm going to get the chance to come back. Man, advocate. Advocate for yourself. Be like, guys, can you please just give me like an hour to go to Mount Vernon? This would make my year. Like, I've done a ton of study on George Washington. Advocate for yourself. You know what I mean? If this is something that you're really passionate about, it doesn't make you a dictator to go, hey, do you mind if we do this? Can we please do that? And even to put your foot down and go, guys, we've done some things for you, done some things for you. This is the thing that I really, really want to do. You don't want to have to pull out the, being a jerk type of thing too early. But if they're going to kind of look you by or pass you by, you got to be able to just not compromise on those things. And this hopefully isn't going to happen too often, but it can happen in college groups. It can happen in groups where you're traveling with maybe 10, 12, 20 people, whatever it is. If there's something you really want to do, man, don't compromise on that.
Well, this goes to the communication point of like, man, get together before the trip and say, all right, what does everybody want to do? What are something? I mean, I know we do that for our trips. Right. Like, all right, what do you guys want to do? And I know what do we usually we want to do the same thing, so it works out great. But like, especially the bigger the group, like I would encourage you to try to facilitate that if nobody else is. Like, all right, guys, just so we can have a general idea, like what does everybody want to do? That's a big one. Number 4, Joe, why don't you get us into number 4?
Yeah, don't go cheap on the place to stay. The travel lodge may be $40. It's $40 for a reason. If you're traveling with others,
don't stay at the Best Western.
Yeah, I mean, definitely do your research on this one. I was just talking with my wife. We're traveling with my parents soon. Just a quick overnight stay. My mom threw out one that was like, this sounds so terrible. It was like a 7.6
out of 10. I'm guessing.
Out of 10, yeah, 7.6 on Hotels.com, and I'm just looking through the pictures like, I don't think so. You can spend $15 more a night and go up to like a 9.0. Like, let's do that one. Well, we could save $15. Yeah, we could, and I could sleep with cockroaches. Like, I don't want to. So Man, try not to go cheap on the place. It doesn't mean you have to stay at the Ritz or have to stay at the the Trump Hotel.
The qualifier again, we know that this is a bit of a sillier episode.
Right.
Not everybody is able to travel, or like again, this is a bit of an indulgent episode. We do think it's important, but yes, I mean this one, like to me, this is one of the cooler parts of the stay, other than what you're going to be doing or of the trip that is where are we staying? Like what are the amenities? Like you're probably only going to go to this place one time ever in your life. Yeah, don't stay at the Best Western or the 7.2 hotel.
Let me say this though. Usually, this is just a travel tip. This isn't on here. Usually, and I don't know if this is your experience, the Airbnbs and the Verbos that are more expensive usually are worth it.
Yeah.
The super expensive hotels usually are not. I've stayed in some fairly high-end hotels.
They're fine.
They're okay. They're nice. You got to tip people. They carry your bags like 20 feet and they want $20 of tip at the Hiltons and some of the nice ones. And then you get to like the real nice upper echelon ones, the pretty expensive per night. I have splurged on moments. No, in my opinion, I don't think it's all that worth it. The Airbnbs that you splurge on most of the time are. So again, just a travel tip. That's you can try, but yeah, I don't think there's all that much difference between the Holiday Inn Express for $150 a night and the one that's $450, $500 a night. There may be some nicer things. At the end of the day, it's a hotel. Whereas the amenities of an Airbnb, Vrbo, things like that gets a lot nicer.
That's good. Yeah.
So good. Anyway,
next one is family related. Keep the kids in mind, but don't plan everything around them. Your kids, and I'm mainly, of course, talking young kids, they're not paying for the vacation you are. And so I do think it's important, especially, let's say you're a family without kids and you're going with a family that has kids. Be mindful. Try to plan. I know my wife is very conscious of like nap times and stuff and, bedtime and all that. And I think my wife does a very good job of keeping that in mind while not planning everything around it. If there's something that's going to happen at this time, forget the naps, we're doing that. Or, we're not going to leave the restaurant early because the kids have to go to bed. Like, that's kind of what I'm getting at, is keep them in mind, but the trip is not about them. Don't plan everything around them. It's, don't, especially for, like, sightseeing and stuff, don't necessarily plan everything around them. And maybe some people might listen and go, well, that's a little selfish. As they get older, again, you'll spend more time planning the trip or maybe around some of the things they want to do. But I think you can just get into, I don't know, not fun territory if everything's about what time the kids are going to get in bed and, oh, man, they got to get home for their naps. And, well, they don't really like this kind of food, so I guess we'll just go through McDonald's. Like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah, I don't have much to add. The last one your wife added, and she probably had me in mind when she added it, don't be late to everything. Don't be late to everything. If you are traveling once again in a group and everybody's leaving at 6:30 and you're the guy that's like, at 6:45 you're rolling around and everybody's been waiting at the bus or everybody's been waiting in the cars, man, we talk about, again, keeping everybody in like and it sounds weird, but so many of these things before we get to traveling by yourself is about keeping a certain, now that I'm thinking about it, like a certain aura, just a certain buzz, this vibe, you want to pass the vibe check, as the kids say these days.
You pass the vibe check.
Yeah.
Good, yeah.
Fun loving, generous, flexible, easygoing, go with the flow. All of those things are great. When you're the guy that's late to everything, when you're the guy that's mentioning the money, when you're the guy that is not adventurous and kind of telling everybody no,
you're not passing the vibe check.
You're not passing the vibe check. You're the guy that is like, it is just a problem. If you think about water flowing and you're the guy that's always, what about this? And what about this? The water keeps running into you. Yeah. It's not good. And that's kind of the flow of the trip, is you don't, as much as possible, don't really want to draw the attention to yourself in a negative way. If you're drawing attention to yourself because you're picking up the tab for somebody, that's positive. That's very good. Thumbs up. So it's just things like this. Like, think about the vibe you want on the trip, and you want a trip where it's just relaxing, it's fun, maybe it's vibrant, it's exciting, it's adventurous, it's a lot of things. Think about the vibe you want on your trip and who you're traveling with. They may not, to your point, they may not vibe with you all that well, in which case maybe you don't travel a ton. But if they do, first off, keep travel friends. Keep traveling with them too. If you got friends that you click with, because it's not always that common to find that. But try to engage in that vibe, where you really want something that's going to be a lot of fun. So that's just when you're traveling with other people, those are kind of the tips, the do's and don'ts. We got another piece that will get us into in a second, but we obviously want to know, what are your tips and tricks? I know we got plenty of people that have traveled probably a lot different places than we've traveled. What have you found to be helpful, the do's, the do-nots when traveling with other people? Will, unless you got other thoughts on that, get us into traveling by yourself, because there are several things here that I think are important.
Yeah, and so I think this includes like traveling with your family, but like basically no other families. It's you, It's, again, you and your wife, you and your kids. It's not a social travel event. I'm going to skip to the second one on the list because I put that one on, Joe, and you can come back to that first one. I'm a big one. We're both, I think, big believers of this. Don't eat at chain restaurants.
Oh, man. Yep.
Don't eat at chain
Well,
restaurants.
they got an Olive Garden. Mm-mm.
Right. If you're going to Olive Garden and Texas Roadhouse and, of course, like McDonald's and Chick-fil-A and stuff when you're going on vacation, wrong move. Find a cool local spot, stuff that you are not going to get anywhere else. If you're going to the Outer Banks in South Carolina or North Carolina, whichever one it is, man, don't go to the chain. Find a cool spot that serves whatever it is that's famous there. Of course, if you're going to Cape Cod, same thing. If you're going to the beach, eat seafood. Like, don't go
Right.
to the normal places. That's definitely maybe a more bougie tip that we're giving. But, like, man, don't go to the chain restaurants when you're going out or when you're traveling on vacation.
Well, some of these things, it's not just about the money. Like, you go
It's
to
about the
Starbucks.
experience.
Correct. You go to Starbucks and spend $7.50 on or $7.50 on a.
Or you can go to the local
Or you can go to
coffee
the local
house,
coffee
yeah.
shop, which might be cheaper. And even if it's terrible, now you know which one not to go to. It's adventurous, right? You're going to
Yeah.
something that it's not just a Starbucks. Well, I know I'm going to get at Starbucks. No, I'm going to get
Yeah.
it at McDonald's. That's not the point. So yeah, I'm a big
Go
believer in this one.
places you can't get at home. That's
Correct.
kind of the best way to
Correct.
put that,
And then you'll find, and my family and I, we travel. We were very fortunate to be able to travel, especially a little bit later, probably 12 and on for me. Man, everywhere we go, there's pretty much these days travel a lot. There are places like, yeah, got to eat here, got to eat there, got to eat there. That's the burrito place. Got to get this pizza, got to get this burger, whatever
Yeah.
it is. And you start kind of building this out. And now I can talk to people and say, hey, if you're here, make sure to get that. And it's just fun. And then they go, hey, but you should try this place. I'm like, great, I got to try that.
Right.
So just keep an open mind. So number two, this should go without saying, but if you're traveling by yourself, pay attention to your surroundings at all times. Safety first. And I also have underneath this, carry yourself with confidence. Look people in the eye. You're walking down the road and you're kind of looking down like this. And you can just, man, they can tell you're out and about. Especially if you're international, you are an easy target for pickpocket. You're not paying attention, or you look completely lost. You look scared out of your mind. Your eye contact as somebody walks by as you're kind of looking down the side and looking shifty. People pick up on this, and we may be cocooned from that in America for the most part. Around the world, that is different, and pickpockets will notice those things. Muggings take place, things like that. I guess that happens here too. But and to pay attention to your surroundings. This is kind of a pet peeve of mine. Is you'll drive somewhere, especially if you're and I would notice this like when we went on our trip to Ireland. I always knew how to get back to a place because as you're going, I'm mapping it out. Okay, here's this, here's
Landmarks
that.
and such,
Just
yeah.
landmarks and such. And it wasn't even fully a conscious that I just really hate not knowing where I am. And it scares you to death. You can't always pull out the Apple Maps type of thing. It's not always accurate in every place. And so you're just paying attention. We took a left here, we took a right there. And so you can get back to where you are. Pay attention. If you are consistently lost, I'm like, where are we again? What did we do? That's easy to do when you're maybe first traveling because you're just jittery and don't always know. Just map things out. Take a few deep breaths.
Yeah,
pay
that's really
attention to what's going on, to the people around you. Don't walk into that. I was in Portland earlier this year. You look across the street and it's like, well, there's 7 homeless dudes all doing something that didn't look fully great, not fully kosher, and they're all over there and with their tents. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to walk the other way because I really don't want to get mugged. And so you got to pay attention to your surroundings and know what you're walking into.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's just
that's a great
not to
one.
go off on that one.
Needs to be said. Next one we have is research ahead of time the sites that you want to see and try to have a few spots picked out. Really, the simple way for me to put that is don't be 100% wing it mode.
Yeah.
Wake up like, what are we going to do today? I don't know. Let's just figure it out. Like, some people operate that way, and I understand that I don't, so it might be just a personality thing. I think your money is best spent if you have a few things picked out, not the every hour by hour, have everything planned out to a T, what you're going to order at the restaurants type of thing. But, hey, we're going to be here. I want to see these 2 or 3 things before we leave town. You don't necessarily decide what day, but I want to do these things. I think again, it's more of a peace of mind thing. You're going to get your money's worth more than if you're just kind of 100% wing it mode. Have a few spots picked out. Try whether it's restaurants or, again, things to see, cool attractions or whatever it is. And then kind of as an aside to that, Joe, I'm curious your thoughts on this one. But I put on there, decide what type of trip that you want it to be. Is this going to be a full relaxation trip? Obviously, beach trips are kind of known for that, of where you just kind of go to relax. Or is this going to be a kind of active sightseeing trip of like full itinerary? You're going to go to these museums and go see all these things. 2 different trips. And so try to have a general idea of like how much of this do you want to be relaxing, sitting, reading a book, looking at pretty scenery, whatever. as opposed to let's hit as many different sites as we can. Knowing that ahead of time is helpful.
Yeah, no, that's great points. The 100% wing it mode, the only caveat to that, or the only exception I'd say, is if you've been there multiple times and you know, like, yeah, I kind of know where I'm going to go,
Fair
or
point, yeah.
man, I've seen everything, and so at this point I'm just going to kind of go and relax.
Yeah.
Those can be a fun trip as well.
And I'm not saying don't ever be spontaneous.
Correct. Yeah, no, I mean, obviously we're very big into spontaneity if possible, but yes, to your point, like most of the time you're going to want to have some things mapped out. As far as it goes with the trip, look, if you go, like, New York is probably not going to be full relaxation mode. You just got to know the trip that you're going on. That's a great trip, but you didn't go to sit in the hotel for the entire time. Yeah. You're going to want to go to Empire State Building and Times Square, and maybe go go to Broadway and see something, or go eat at all these places, or Central Park. There's a bazillion and one things to see in New York. You just got to kind of know what your trip is going to be about. Like you said, the beach, if you're going there. Even Hawaii, are you going to go hiking on the volcanoes, or are you going to go snorkeling, or are you just going to sit on the beach and chill? Have some sort of understanding of maybe what you're looking for in that trip. The next one, don't pull the phone out all the time. Just enjoy the moment. Even if you're eating alone. That can be a difficult one when you're traveling by yourself, and the temptation is just you go to a nice restaurant, whatever it is, and yeah, you're treating yourself. That's great. You're eating local fare. And the entire time you're just scrolling Twitter or X, or you're just looking at the news or whatever it may be. Sit back, take a few deep breaths. People watch. I'd put the next one here, which is keep a journal. When I travel, and I've traveled alone a few times, I take a notebook and I take a pen with me, and I'll just go sit at a restaurant, and that's where a lot of the creativity will flow. And I'll write some therapy ideas down, or some sermon ideas down, or whatever it may be. I people watch and I have a really good time. I think about the food. Like, I'm more present in the moment. The easiest thing to do is to always be on your phone. And then you get down to the end of the trip and it's like, what did I do? I got a lot of pictures, but most of the time you're not going to look back at all of the pictures more than like one time. Whereas if you really remember a place because it's like vivid in your mind, you'll think about that way more than you'll ever go back and look at the picture.
Yeah, that's really good. Next one that we have is try to make special moments with your family. Obviously, this is when you have a family. Try to make moments special. Some of my fondest memories are the road trips that me and my family took. Before we got to the destination, the car ride was fun. We were singing or doing trivia games, or whatever it may be. There's a million different things you can do in the car to make your moment special. But I don't know, as the dad, as the parents, this is where I'll say it's really cool to find those special moments with your family. Those are the things you're going to remember. Those are the things when your kids get older. Speaking like I'm 60, I'm not, but like you're going to remember. Because I remember them as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
So I know my parents remember them.
Yep.
And so look for ways to, again, have special moments. Take some pictures. Again, to Joe's point, don't always have your phone out, snapping the picture and missing everything. But yeah, find some moments to make really special. Try some cool food with your kid, some cool drinks, whatever it is. Get the candy on the road trip, like that kind of stuff. Yeah, just try to make the moment special, I would say.
Yeah. We have a few other. I'll run down a list of very quick tips.
You skipped one. I don't know if you meant to.
Yeah, I'm going to put it on a quick tip because
cool.
I like. Man, that's a great way to wrap. Traveling by yourself. A few quick tips. First, if you can, choose something to collect, even if that's a picture of a specific place. Outside a specific restaurant. You can collect those. My family, we collect ornaments, and so our tree is full of all of the places that we travel, which can be fun.
Pens, that was my thing.
Yeah, there you go. Pens. Some people do shot glasses, which is kind of weird. Yeah.
Keychains.
T-shirts. I did Hard Rock T-shirts. I got a bazillion of those, which is kind of stupid because now I just got to store them, and I don't know what I'm going to do with them. So think about that. You don't want to pick something huge, but yeah, I'd say choose something to collect. When traveling internationally, immediately I would say go find the nearest store, buy and chug water. Get some maybe 6-pack of water or whatever that they sell. Chug it, and then stay up to the point of sleep, because the first thing you're going to want to do, it's going to be 10 a.m. and it's going to be middle of the night wherever you are. Whatever it is, you're going to want to go sleep. Stay up until it's time to go to bed. A couple quick tips. Keep some gum on you. I think I'm a big believer in, like, as dumb as this sounds, smelling good. So I keep a little travel thing of some cologne and deodorant. And that way, if I'm traveling somewhere, I have those. I can just kind of freshen up a little bit. Same thing with the gum. You can freshen up. When it comes to, if you're traveling, especially internationally, money, keep it around the chest. Like I have a little lanyard type thing where I keep all my money, my passport, all of that stuff. You do not want to have it in your back pockets for pickpockets, things like that.
Pocket,
yeah, definitely not the back pocket. Even front pockets, sometimes they can be pretty good. Around the neck is going to be one of the safest things possible. There's another one that I'm blanking on, but just a few things like that hopefully can help if you're looking at traveling. Obviously, we love travel, as you can tell. Yeah, have a ton of fun. That's probably the biggest one. Other than, don't be the dictator.
And be flexible.
And be flexible, yeah. have a ton of fun. Travel is great. Do it as much as you can. In my opinion, I know it's expensive. There's something about, well, you traveled a ton. I was fortunate to travel a ton. There's something about that I think gives you a different understanding of the world. It gives you a little bit of, I don't know the term I'm looking for, but like, it was nice with my wife. We met on a trip, in that Ireland trip. And just having some of those things down of some of this, where I knew how to keep somebody safe. That's one of the first things we did is we went and walked and got some water and got some. Oh, that's what I was going to say is keep a snack with you at all times, some crackers or whatever else, because you just don't know how long it's going to be. Keep a snack on. So I went to grab some snacks, went to grab some water. She went with me, and that was the first conversation alone we had ever had. And then her parents were like, "You walked in a foreign country with somebody that you don't even know. What are you doing?" They're pretty ticked.
Worked out all right.
Worked out all right. We're here almost 10 years later actually this year. So yeah, I mean, but the nice thing was I had traveled a lot and I knew what to do and I knew what I was looking for and I knew the local stores and I knew things like that. And so it was a privilege. I recognize that. That sounds very privileged. But these are the type of things that can really help. Not that you're always going to find a wife that way, but they can really help in terms of, just knowing what you know and knowing the way that the world works and local customs. That's the other one my wife added is don't be that American tourist guy. Like, pay attention to local customs as much as possible. If you're going to be in Asia, like, eat with the chopsticks if you can. Learn how to do those things. A few things like that. You don't want to be that American that's always standing out like sore thumb. But anyway.
Just quick on your point a second ago is you will remember and cherish the moments with your family, the experience of travel more than any Christmas gift, most likely, other than maybe a sentimental gift. But like the pair of shoes that you got, the headphones, the new iPhone. Not to sound like an old man, but you're going to remember the fun trips with your family, the trips with your kids. Again, those moments, just the really good meal that you had, the really cool sights. Like, those are the things that make life special. And that's why, again, here at the Godly Men podcast, we're going to talk. I mean, we didn't pull out the Bible in this episode. We're going to talk about this stuff because we enjoy talking about it. It's our podcast, so we're going to.
Right.
But also, we think it's a fun part of life that God has blessed us with, the ability to travel. Again, as much as possible, but I just think it does make life very special. And it's, I don't know, there's something about it that you'll look back and I've never taken a trip where I was like, man, I wish I didn't do that. I wish I'd worked more. Like,
right.
Hardly anybody. I wish I'd stayed home. Most people aren't going to do that, and so.
But you kept the vibe good, and
yes.
not to beat that dead horse on the vibe, but like that is the difference is. You go on a trip with your family. I am a different person on a trip because I am able to unplug from my clients and to detach and to be more present with my family than I usually am when I got 50 clients that are Texas. Same thing for you. I mean, you're able to just kind of put things on the back burner. Like, trips allow for that. And I'm not saying you live, trip to trip. On the other hand, man, when the vibe is right and when you're fun to travel with, those are some of the best times ever, and those are the things that your kids will remember because, like, man, that's when we had Dad's full undivided attention. We want to do that as much as possible at home. Of course, we want to be there.
Yeah.
But the reality is, we're going to get off at 6, 7 p.m. and try to cram in before they go to bed as much as we can. That's not the case on vacation. They got you wall to wall, so be present, be active, have fun, keep the vibe light. Your kids are going to appreciate that all the more. Your wife's going to appreciate that. The people who travel with are going to appreciate it. Again, like you said, it's our podcast, so we'll record what we want. But we hope this has been enjoyable for you. Any other thoughts?
No.
As we looked around?
Thank you for listening again, for indulging us a bit. We'll be back next week with a much more serious, a little bit more non-negotiable, most likely. But we appreciate everybody who watches and listens. We're getting that much closer to episode 150. We have 6 more episodes till we hit it. We'll talk to you guys next week.